Well, happy Monday afternoon. You guys survived another day of work, so now it's time to do, hopefully, bring the best part of your day is watch some hacker content. Sadly, we're at the Ginger compound just with the Ginger, me.
I love those redheads, man.
I know you. We had geography together, remember?
None of the rest of the group is here because it's just not feasible for them to travel up to Indiana, northern Indiana at that, to come see me every time my Problem R has broke or needs maintenance, because that is quite frequently. So today's series is brought to you by Problem R that needs a little bit of love and maintenance, okay?
Okay!
So right here, we got a couple wheel bearings I'm gonna be throwing on it. Yep, that's the wheel bearing. I'm pretty sure it's the same as the Turbo R. Pro R, Turbo R. Went to this more like, I guess, hub-centric wheel bearing rather than just the bearing in the hub. Those, $200 a piece. 200, one piece. That's two of them actually. So I'm pretty sure my passenger side, both of them are wiggling a little bit. I didn't look into it much, honestly. Hopefully it's not just a bushing. I reached out to Crash City, and they are a dealer for like everything. So they're not a Polaris dealer, but they do sell and they can get Polaris parts, OEM parts. So huge shout out to Crash City. We have an affiliate link with them, or use code Haggard. Save yourself some coin with Crash City. Like I said, they're awesome people, very knowledgeable in the side-by-side community. So if you have any questions, they're always been helpful to answer any questions I've had. So another thing I'm gonna be throwing on is some brakes. TRAILD. We're not affiliated with this company, but they were at the Miley Harvey benefit, the cancer benefit, and I end up winning a little care package from them, and that care package happened to be a free set of brake pads. So they're gold, so that means awesome, that means money, I don't know. So this is what you get when you order their brakes though. You get pads. Good thing to have. Sticker. Who don't like stickers? And then one of these things to keep your soda, your trail sodas nice and cool. And then obviously one of the big things with doing brakes is make sure your wheel bearings are good. So I've had these for a while, needed that to happen, shook around, found some loose wheel bearings. Wheel bearings cause your brakes to wear prematurely. So if you're ever gonna do brake pads, make sure your wheel bearings are good, because when they wobble, you get your rotor and they're wobbling, and it'll wear your pads out. I've personally worn them out in one trip because I had a bad wheel bearing. Can't blame a brake company if you have bad wheel bearings. So be going ahead, throwing 2 wheel bearings on, full set of brake pads. Got me some brake fluid to top off, because I'm gonna show you guys what I would hope you guys all do when you change your brakes is you actually empty your calipers with all the bad, nasty brake fluid in there, the burn up brake fluid, instead of just pushing that back in your system. So we got some more AMSOIL products. There'll be a little bit more information on that, but I am actually an AMSOIL dealer, Ginger Jesse the Lube Tech. We'll do a full video on that and kind of give out more information as I can get more information to help you guys
stay lubricated.
I'm gonna throw you guys in a time lapse of me jacking this thing up and taking the wheels off.
I wanna be the greatest. Everybody on the fake shit. I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the basement. Statement, the top is so vacant. I don't hear shit that I think is amazing. Waiting for my day when I'm playing sold out shows for 1,000 faces. Hey, give me that crown, get in my way and to be put down. It ain't your place, all this my town. If I want that shit, then I'll get it right now. I'm losing it, the noose it fits, some loose shit, a stupid myth. You choose to live or choose to dip, you choose to fight or lose your grip and lose a gift.
All right, there we go. She's all jacked up and ready to be torn down. So obviously, look like we're gonna need an axle boot. A little bit disappointed in myself. So I think before Badlands, I shook it down real quick. I'm like, okay, 2 wheel bearings. Did not pay attention to detail. So I did tighten the front Keller ball joints. This one's loose. Between that being loose and there's honestly an upper control arm bushing loose, I think that was my issue. I don't really think this wheel bearing's bad. When I get the brakes off, I'll be able to really tell again and see. So honestly, you got like 2,000 miles on OEM brakes and they're still pretty decent. So I was losing some stopping power, what it felt like. So that's why I figured might as well just change the brakes out. The brakes are honestly in pretty good shape, front and back, probably around 50-ish%. This machine has just over 2,000 miles on it of extremely easy miles. Granted, I am more on the gas than I am on the brakes. Maybe that's why. Back wheel bearing, that one is bad. Definitely don't blame that one for being bad. This backside gets a lot of abuse. That's seen a lot of trees with driving a Freightliner through the woods. That's gonna happen. L&W trailing arms holding up strong. Oh yeah, as you probably saw, make sure you throw the jack stands underneath the trailing arms before you pull the wheels off so I don't, you know, fall. About to remove the front brake pad or rotor. I did forget 2 crucial steps before working on your machine, being out in the garage. First step, turn on Somewhat Haggard on YouTube. Second, go to somewhathaggard.com and buy yourself some merch, man. We got the red, white, and the blue. This is kind of like the American outfit right here. This shirt's tried and true. She's been through a lot. It's came clean multiple times after being muddy. I mean, it does kind of match the machine too, but buy yourself some merch, buy yourself some koozies, buy yourself some decals. The front is actually a 16 millimeter for these bolts. Hold on the caliper. The backs are still a 15. Kind of like every other machine I've ever worked on. While working on this, I found tie rod end over there that's loose. So now I need to get some tie rod ends as well. Bushings, tie rod ends. Check out that color ball joint, see if it's compromised or just loose. Alright. Come on. There we go. Yeah, these brakes are still in very good shape. So you don't gotta do that fancy loosening a bolt. These things just pop right in and out. It's kind of nice. Maybe. So I still do got some life left on these bad boys. You know, these don't really start out with a whole lot. See, Jeremy and Lou may not be here, but they're still here. But yeah, they still got plenty of life left, but might as well add some new. Keep them as spares. Just kidding, they're probably going in the trash. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to compress the pistons and the caliper. But the way I do it is I crack the bleeder loose. So instead of pushing all that dirty brake fluid that's been heated back into your lines just for it to get back, and I just push it out, put brand new in there. So that's one thing I like to do. You don't have to do it, it's not required. Do I recommend it? Yes, but you do you.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
All right, there we go. Front's back together. Pretty simple. Like literally the only tools you need for the front is to take the front tire off, 16 millimeter to take the bolts off the bracket. Like the slide bracket comes right off. It's not like the back where you gotta like remove a nut or loosen a nut. I would highly recommend buying new clips to hold your brake pads in. I had to bend mine to make them work, otherwise they're really loose. So buy new clips, makes it a little bit easier. Brake install, fairly simple. We are gonna be doing bushings. Steph, you know, Santa can bring me some bushings too, because I know that's what Santa brought Steph this year. No performance parts for us. Simply trying to fix the problem R and make it a Pro R again. She has to earn her name. So with this machine, getting off track. Why stay on track? But I never really discovered the noise that came from Badlands. It sounded like a belt coming apart. I don't know what that noise was, but there is kind of like a humming, like a bad bearing. I'm really assuming it's the PTO in these. This thing's got a PTO, PTL, whatever the heck you want to call it. It's what comes off your crank, connects your primary clutch to basically your crankier motor. So there are 2 bearings in that. I thought there was play in that, so I'm throwing a belt on it anyway. I'm gonna go ahead and check that, and there'll probably be a video out on that as well of what I find. So either A, PTL, or B, bearings in the trans. Really hoping that's not the case, but I do have to pull the trans case apart because, like always, I like to get in a rush sometimes. Dude, you got shit up everywhere. And it's leaking fluid. There's chunks in here. Didn't seal it up good enough. We're gonna go ahead and tear that apart, re-clean it, reapply some silicone, and see if we can get it to stick this time.
Dude, we gotta wipe this all off.
No.
Yeah, there's chunks all the way.
You know what that is?
You
know what that chunks are? That's sealant. Enough of me jabbing. Let's take these 2 bolts off. So these are 15 mil. Yeah, it's hard to not have the king here so he can film while I work. So when you gotta do both, it's not that fun. Not only is it not that fun, it's not that fun not being able to see his pretty face.
He got a little pretty mouth, ain't he?
So for the wheel bearing, I don't know yet. I'm assuming, obviously, take the axle nut off. I don't think I can get to the bolts. I think I'm gonna have to pull both of the radius rods off and go from there. So then I can get to the bolts. It should be fairly simple after that. So, yeah, the brake pads are definitely way more wore in, but they are a fraction of the, yeah, the backs definitely. I knew the backs were needing it because they weren't gripping as hard. There's not much on the back, so you could probably honestly go through 2 sets of backs to 1 front because the fronts were still in pretty good shape. That's a beef of a rotor right there. Then you can actually loosen this bolt back here. You can see that back of the caliper. You loosen that and it kind of helps you get these on. I always just kind of snake these brake pads on. These are pretty similar to like any other side-by-side. Well, RZR at least. I'm gonna pull these back off and grease the slide pins. I did do the fronts. I don't know why I didn't even think about doing these. But that's how I do it. I'm pulling this off. It's not good. So your slide pins, that's obviously, that's kind of what helps your brakes ride. You only have cylinder on one side, so instead of just having that cylinder move in and out and riding to one side, this helps alleviate or kind of disperse the pressure on the brake, so it uses both sides. So if you lock one of these up, you're 9 times out of 10 you're just gonna wear one brake pad out. So always check these, make sure they're not all dry. More grease, muddy and dry. Grease them up, throw them back together. That'll be that for this, for the brake pads. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the other side. They're all similar. It's a fairly easy job. You can do it yourself, save a few bucks. And now I'm gonna tackle this wheel bearing, double check, make sure that's what loose. I didn't see anything else. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have to pull these radius rods off and pull the whole trailing arm out and go from there.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
Alright guys, here we are. I did pull both radius rods off. It's 21 millimeter bolts. This is a 10 millimeter, 4 10 millimeter Allen socket cap screws. That's what goes into the wheel bearing itself. Impulsive me shook the wheels, thought wheel bearings were bad. They weren't bad. So I'm gonna go ahead and replace this one anyway. We're already here. I guess it'll be a good spare. When I was shaking the wheel and I had the wheel on, I'm looking, nothing's visually loose. I thought wheel bearing, because it actually shook up and down and left and right. So it was loose. All it was this jam nut not jammed, and that little bit of play in the threads is what, I can't really tell on camera, but that's what was creating the wheel to move. Don't be so impulsive. So after this, I figured out the wheels were loose. We went to Badlands, obviously I had diff issues and drivetrain noises, so I was kind of upset with the machine, and I parked it in my storage side of my shop. So I haven't looked at it until now, which has been probably a month. So, cause I was tired, I've been tired of working on this thing all year. So that's my fault. Might as well finish this up and get this wheel bearing on. Old versus new. It's shiny. It's going on. Why not? That's a good spare. So, thankfully, we have 3 machines that run these wheel bearings. The Turbo R, the Pro R. They're all the same, front to rear. So, Jeremy or dude needs one. Well, I got it. So, brake pads. Like I said, we're almost done. I'm gonna finish this side up. No need to see that. Extremely simple. If you go below here, there's affiliate links with all of the people that we work with or support us. So if they support us, it helps if you support them as well. That's probably gonna be a wrap for this video. I'm just gonna be putting it all back together and disappointed that I ordered $400 in wheel bearings for no reason. Is what it is. We got more coming up for this machine. I do know there are some more issues that I'm going to dig into before I just go and order some parts for them. All right, that's it. Like, subscribe, and do all that fun jazz. Peace.
Yeah.